Okay, Discord is spammed. Time to game once Calvin arrives. He is the one who replied to my match request in the Discord. I'm already pilled up, so prepare for some extra level of misplays. Give me a moment, sure, I have time. I can just think of new card ideas in the meantime. What are some... Oh yeah, Venar has a card that needs to be reworked. That can be reused for something. Frostthorn Rhino. I gave it a chance, remember? I played it in a deck. It was not 100% garbage, but it was definitely not good enough. I would much rather play Dancing Blades. Maybe there are other 5-drops that I would also rather play. Maybe even Bright Moss is better. What does this thing do again? Yeah, Storm Defender might also be better, honestly. Zenrui is better. I would say Zenrui and Dancing Blades are clearly better. Zenrui is a bit of a silver bullet card, so yeah, depends on the matchup. And Dancing Blades can be played around, but this thing was very underwhelming. Even though 8-5 Provoke is kind of scary. But I feel like this could maybe use a little bit of extra juice. What would be a cool effect for a Rhino? You know what would actually be cool, Calvin? Because then it's also... Well, that does take away a little bit of skill, but it also gives a bit of skill. Rhinos are chargers, right? So what if this has charge and an opening rush? I mean, when you play this minion, it moves 2 forward. Just add that, because then it's very easy to play this into Solitude, and then it is already a lot stronger. Not that it is hard to play this into Solitude, but you are a bit limited in how you play this because of Solitude. That's just how the keyword works, right? Which is also why it's a cool keyword. But this card is not that great, so I think that would be a nice little buff. Of course, it stops moving once it gets blocked, so it might also move only 1 space or 0 spaces if you want it to. It does move through your friendly, but not if it's on the same tile, of course. Not on the end tile. So yeah, charge, as in when opening Gambit, when summoned, this minion moves 2 spaces forward. Charging Hearthstone is versus Consultation Generals, isn't it? In older games, yes, but that's not what I meant. I meant charge as in an opening Gambit where it moves on a turn that you play it, but it doesn't attack anything. Moving on someone is a cool mechanic. I think so too. That's why I just followed it up. It was completely improvised. Because it was like, what do rhinos do? And I was like, they charge at people. Because they're blind, and that makes them very easily scared. They're close to being blind. So they're easily startled and easily attack, even though they're not necessarily aggressive, they're just scared. Aggression and being scared tend to overlap a lot among animals. And it has synergy with Solitude, so it makes sense to put it on a Solitude card, you know? The move on someone thing. If you really want to buff it and give it Solitude synergy, you could do on the first turn it's summoned. This minion can be moved 2 spaces if you activate it, and that would be clicking it again on the board. Why? Because then you can summon Rhino first, then put a chaser below it, and then make the Rhino charge, and then they're both in Solitude. That will be also pretty cool. Probably quite complicated to implement. adding some quality of life stuff next patch. 4.8 replace Kenosha craft missing button. That's great. Those are both really good quality of life changes. Especially the replay stuff is necessary for me. Because sometimes you just want to skip to the part where you might have missed lethal. And then it takes fucking ages to get there. And that will no longer be an issue then. Nice. What do you think about that, Calvin? That you can choose when it charges instead of it immediately does it with an opening gambit for more Solitude synergy. I think the card would definitely still not be too powerful, but I don't know if that's implementable or convoluted, not pretty. You know, now that I think about it, this is a cool way to give celerity to minions without allowing them to attack twice. Is to give them an activate button that can be activated once per turn, that allows them to move a second time. But unlike with celerity, you don't have total freedom. Like I said, that he will always move 2 forward, right? So you can't move 2 backwards, you can't go diagonal, etc. So it's way less powerful than celerity, but you know, this card doesn't need to be buffed that much. Like abilities in DGG, I know nothing about GG because it's one draw. Well, that means I know something about it. I know it's one draw, but because of that, I don't know anything about it because I don't want to play one draw. But if you say they have cool ideas, I'll trust you on that because, you know, you actually tried it and I didn't. Yeah, they have a really awesome mechanic. I want to steal some point cards whenever this can activate for X mana once per turn. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going for, except it wouldn't cost mana in my case. You click the activate button on the card, it uses the mana and does a thing. Yeah, that's basically what I just invented too, but without the mana cost. But the mana cost can be a cool addition. Depends on the card, right? On some cards you might want to add a mana cost to it because otherwise it's too powerful. And it's interesting because it's more resource management. And on some cards you might want it to just be an activate thing every turn for free. I mean, you're literally in charge, right? Together with the other people, so you can do whatever you want. You can do with or without mana. I think either way is cool. Venar is not really the faction that needs buffs, I think, but Rhino is a card that needs some kind of changes. It's not really playable, was my verdict after trying it. I think everything else is pretty much playable, isn't it? Let me check. Honestly, I think everything else is playable in Venar. Yeah, Venar has actually pretty good cards. I feel like this is the only card that you have no reason to put in your deck ever. The other cards are or just good, or have niche purposes, or you don't play them but you could. Like Wolfraven is a good example of that. A 3/4 flyer is really not bad. That's pretty good. You just don't play it because of deck space, pretty much, because Fenrir exists and deck space, etc. But it's not bad, a 3/4 flyer. And yes, it only is a 3/4 flyer in Solitude, but a flying minion is super easy to have in Solitude range, so. And yeah, every other card is like that. It's either a card you can play in a deck with synergy, or it's just always good, or it has a niche. Like Coldbiter is a good example of a niche card. It's nice if you need a tool against board spam, especially if it's aggressive kind of board spam around your general, like a zoo deck or something. But Rhino, I feel like there is just no reason to ever put that in your deck over Dancing Blades and Rui, and maybe even Bright Moss and Sworn Defender. And maybe even fucking Ash Method, because Razorback exists. And Lady Locke. So yeah, that's my take on Rhino. Are you ready for games now? Let me know. I guess I'll just challenge you and see if you are ready. Looks like you are. I know the new Linar deck is really cool and all, but I'm just kind of addicted to this deck, to this Mazer Zoo. I just want to get good at it. So even though it makes sense to play the new cards, I would rather just spam this deck a bit until I become at least decent at it. Oh yeah, let me read the patch notes. There was a tiny patch, right? Lucent Beam to deal 1 damage to an enemy minion per each mana crystal destroyed this game. So it can no longer go face. That's a good change, I think. Sanctify 1 mana liner spell with give a friendly minion +1/+1 for each mana crystal destroyed this game. Oh, so this spell actually does something against Linar now. Because that's actually kind of scary. The funny thing is, if I play Chaos Elemental, my board does get wiped by Tempest. I'll have to give him a mana screw, which sucks. Maybe I should not have gone to the mid tile. Well, too late now. But I think I should have just given him the mid tile. And summon the Jaxies in these tiles so that he can't mana screw me next turn with this Embezzler. It's especially problematic if he hits the 1/1 with it and then Silverguard Knights me, because then I can't finish it off with my General Punch. Sunwisp, okay, I have 0 mana, nice. I think I already had 0 mana before he played that. Well, maybe not, because he's killing the Jaxie. I think I just have to get rid of the Embezzlers. And spread out. So that I can actually do shit next turn. Not sure why I gave him the mana towel over here. Oh yeah, because I was spreading out against Sunwisp, that's why. He has 4 mana for some reason. He also loses mana over this, right? Yeah. Maybe even with the Lucent Beam, change this deck is still very strong. It felt strong so far because, you know, I could not do anything on my turn 3. Literally, I had 0 mana. I think the game is over already because I still can't do anything. I'll have 0 mana again. Is there counterplay? Like, is there a dream that stops this somehow? Does playing the golem, the 4 mana golem, fix my mana? I still don't really get the golem text, you know? Because I literally can't do anything. It's kinda 8. It is actual control though. That's what control does in card games that are not Duelyst, right? They don't allow you to play the game. So I think Mazer's mission has been completed. I think I didn't take this shit seriously at all because Calvin played Draining Wave deck against me before. And then he would also not have mana, you know? But the problem is now that I can't do anything for a million turns. Well, he can. Because that's why it was a meme before. If you played this stuff, you also couldn't do anything. And I'm playing a super low curve deck. I don't have any problem finding 2-drops, but I can't even play a 2-drop. Like, you don't play Ironcliffe in this kind of deck, but if he does, then what the fuck do you do now? Okay, 0 mana. Again. Right. If I have actually 0 mana, I lose to this. Because I can't shroud it. Yeah, I have 0. Wait, what's happening to my general? That was weird. Did you see that? My general was animating. Anyway, we can just concede. I can't do anything. I have 0 mana. This is where you need Siphon over Shroud. Maybe you need Siphons, yeah. I mean, in a Zoo deck that makes no sense. You have to play Shroud. I don't know what the hell I was supposed to do there. But I think it was not giving you an Embezzler hit on my Jaxies. I should have played that slower. I think that's the reason why I lost. After that, I could literally not do anything. I don't think there was anything misplayed or well played by me after that. There was just... there were no plays, you know? After that, there were no plays. But I think the double Jaxie play was a misplay. I'm looking for 2-drops, yeah. That's why I replaced the Chaos Elemental. Because even 2-drops were unplayable last game. I couldn't even play 1-drops if I had them. I do have First Wish. This gives him a Tempest, but then at least he's not mana screwing me if he Tempests this turn. Not even sure if he plays Tempest in his list. Don't know if you have deck space for that. Because now he also needs to add Sanctify. That does only 1 damage, right? He played 1 Draining Wave. What? I'm confused. Why does it do 2? To an enemy per each. Oh, because it's lose a Mana Crystal to both players. That's why. They both lose a Mana Crystal, so it does 2 damage. Makes sense. So yeah, is there a dream that... I don't understand how this works with the 4 mana Golem. But I can't even play the 4 mana Golem because I will have a full hand. So Dream Shaper is not really it. It is interesting how this type of deck just completely warps the game. It's definitely a completely new archetype, and the game just becomes, you know, really weird. But not in a retarded way like with Harvester. It does feel pretty cancerous, but again, not like Harvester. Okay, we can blot here First Wish. That's not bad. I don't want him to be able to clear my Portal Guardian. I'm not hitting with it yet. I will start hitting when it has a real attack stat. Never mind, that probably just kills it, right? Because he played a bunch of Drainaways. Okay, that almost killed it. He has only one Lucent Beam left, that's nice. I really want to play First Wish here so that he can't Elko in this. It's so many turns away for Lady Lock, same for Dream Shaper, but I should probably spread out because of Sunwisp. I played around Sunwisp this way. I would definitely rather keep the Shrouds because of Sanctify than this Void Hunter, which is just unplayable with this full hand and no mana. Embezzler doesn't work on counter attacks, is the nice thing. Oh shit, I actually can play 2 cards. That's new. And the double blot here is perfect for it. No, I don't want him to be able to walk away from my stuff. So no mana screw from these minions. Yeah, I tried to play around Sunwisp as much as I could. The nice thing is that I'm vet, so he can't really play Sunwisp and keep the minions alive on purpose to mana screw me more, because then he dies to Third Wish. He does play Tempest, good to know. That's most of his turn, is the good news. Now I can actually play cards. Just in case he plays Immo, I'll put it here, then he can't put it here or there. He can't reach here. 3 Shrouds, nice. I guess I'll replace one, there's no way he can play triple Sanctify in this game. Yeah, this game we can actually play the game a little bit. We've actually had a bit of mana. Another Tempest, okay. I have to play something first before I can Dream. Rift, he gets whatever he wants, which is a mana screw. I can't play the Golem. What is a good tree drop here? Fenrir. Because it doesn't die to one Lucent being, one Martyrdom, etc. It's also sticky. Which is nice for Third Wish. Oops, am I dead? Apparently. Oh, I didn't even think about this thing can also be sanctified. Okay, that's interactive. He didn't even need the third sanctified because I hit his face. I didn't even think about that interaction. Well, that deck seems broken. Because either you can't play the game or you die from 30 HP basically. That thing had 27 attack at the end, right? Nice. Well, that's good to learn, that's a possibility. I totally forgot about Tiger. Well, yeah, that seems very balanced. I felt like I was actually playing that well, but then I got Songhite in Lion-R. That's unusual. Macer did say that it would be completely broken what he was releasing. He did promise that. I guess he's delivering on the promise. I can't even dream anything probably, but I open Pyro every game, by the way. Martyrdom. Oh, that means I can actually dream. But it's better to double 2. Oh, I can only play a single 2. That means I'm gonna replace a Dream Shaper. The funny thing is my deck should be relatively good against this deck because I play so low curve. But it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like my deck is good against his. Maybe it is just a broken deck, I don't know. I kind of want to protect the Jaxi against Tempest. I don't need to kill this Elfwin. It doesn't do anything. This deck is tier 0. I don't even know what that means, but maybe that's why you said it, because it's an absurdist meme. Okay, we have 0 mana. Oh, that's why you said it's tier 0, because you have 0 mana. Very funny. Oh, we can actually play a card. Nice. This way the Mystic doesn't die to Tempest. And that means the Mini Jax also doesn't die to Tempest. Tier 0 just means there's no reason to play anything else. Because someone with cash runners with chief spells is really fucking hard to beat. Oh yeah, that's like the closest thing to a counter deck. Good point. I'm not gonna play that though. Even though that kind of deck is actually fun. I've played a lot of Kashrai Songhai lists. Because Kashrai is one of my favorite cards for nostalgic reasons, right? Because it made me qualify for the World Championship. The problem is the Tigers. I can't do anything about that. I know I have lock in my deck, but I can't lock combo because I have no mana. Still, I'll keep the lock just in case I ever get mana, I guess. I can't ever dream. My hands will be too full. It's also hard to pump the Guardian. I put this here because that, no, you can just hit it first and then Tempest. Maybe I do play the Guardian. You can't Alco in Tempest next turn, that's not possible. I could have played around Tiger on the mini jacks, but I think no, I couldn't actually. And also, if he plays Tigers, that's good for me, right? Because yeah, last game I was winning very hard if he didn't have Tigers. Rift, so he can just choose a Tempest. Oh, looks like he's not Tempesting. Lucent Beam on the 4/4, I guess. Yep. Being able to play shit like Heartseeker is also nice for with Songhai. Creating face probably doesn't really make sense against Sanctified Tiger, but I don't think I should play around that shit. I just have to pray he doesn't get it. Because, you know, how do you protect yourself against 27 out of hand damage for 6 mana? You don't. Hey Mazer, I was just talking about how strong your new archetype is. I do think it's kind of cool, even though it's also cancerous. It's also kind of cool, just because it's completely new. Are you enjoying the control meta? Like I said, kind of. It's cancer, but it's also really cool. And one of the reasons why I think it's cool, because I don't think you were here when I was saying that. This is actually what control does. It doesn't allow you to play the game. And I don't remember, well, maybe the last time that was the case. I guess Control Magmar doesn't really allow you to play the game too. Maybe that's the real control deck. But it reminds me a bit of, you know, the Fae I used to win the World Champion qualifiers with. I use your deck and I use my own Songhai list, my own backstab aggro Songhai list, remember, with the Kashrai. Oh, I'm supposed to make a play. But yeah, the last game I was actually winning, surprisingly. But then I got Tiger triple sanctified, which was 27 damage. Control continue into Mahal. I mean, control, it is nice to actually have the archetype, right? because we didn't really have the archetype whatsoever. Okay, I can't do anything. You're winning to the point, control like later win con. Yep. But I feel like I can't really do anything because, you know, this deck literally doesn't allow you to do anything. Quite literally. In my first game today, the one where I wasn't close to winning, I couldn't play a 2-drop for, I don't know, 6 turns in a row or something because I just had no mana. That's why I said it's kind of cancerous, but also cool at the same time. But the cool part is probably just because it's new and because you managed to invent a completely new archetype. This is probably not something that I or others will enjoy for a long time, if I had to predict. I will play around Wisp a little bit. I already hate it. It's perfect. Yeah, Macer, I was kind of glazing you that you were achieving your goals. Like you said that it would be broken. That's true. You said that it would be control and fuck mid-range. That's true. What else did you say that it would do? Basically, I don't remember exactly all the things you said, but all the things you said were not a lie. Oh shit, a tiger without Sanctify, I hope. Nice. Wait, I can play cards now? That's weird. I don't want this to hit my face because then it can manage screw me twice maybe. Well, let me know when you want mid-range meta back. There are only one tiger in mine, by the way. I don't think Calvin plays only one tiger because then he just threw out his win con. It's not the only win con in the deck, but still. I will let you know when I want it back. It's probably not gonna take that long. Which will be a fun lesson. People don't always know what they want. Even when they think they do. To have actual archetypal diversity. Print wheel, aggro and wheel disruption. I am in favor of that idea. Okay, we have 0 mana again. I played around Wisp, I thought, but then he just double wisped me. Oh, I have 2 mana, nice. I do have some mana. Unexpected. I can't really shroud because of Sanctify. You didn't play any Sanctifies yet. But I kind of want to shroud both of these things. I know I can play only one shroud. Macer, the funniest thing is I've only been playing Zuvet, right? And I still can't play cards anyway. That's how much it mana fucks you. Bro, you are dead? What? Yeah, probably. Because Tiger Sanctify. Well, actually I have a Provoke now. But I commented earlier that I'm not gonna play around Tiger Sanctify because well, unless I can, but usually I can't play any Provokes. I can't play a Lady Lock combo because I don't have mana. Oh, I don't mind that. That means I actually have mana because he Tempested. Well, maybe not. He probably plays the Golem. Wait, what? I'm actually allowed to do something now? That's weird. I can play the Lady Lock combo now with a 2-drop from this. What is a good 2-drop with that? Just Windblade, I guess, for damage. Or we can play a Silverguard Squire with another Dream. I think I prefer that. I need to keep these for Sanctifies. Well, he will just Sanctify me out of hand, right? I'll replace one. Just got Sanctified from it. Oh yeah, true. I didn't think about that. New card, by the way. It always takes so long for me to think about the new cards. Like when I play against Abyss, I'm gonna think Breath is not Grasp. I'm gonna think it's wipe the entire board for a lot of mana. But it's actually Grasp now. You know, global 4 damage, grasp, etc. New cards are hard to adapt to for me. Lucent Being. Looks like I'm dead to a Tiger. I could have played around that by playing the Silverguard Squire behind my back. Yeah, keeping Shrouds in hand is actually not really a thing against this deck because he plays Tigers. So Sanctify is whatever. As in, you shouldn't hold your answer to that because he's not gonna play it. Until it's lethal. Calvin mentioned there's one type of deck that can beat this, because Calvin said this is tier 0, meaning there's no reason to play anything else from a competitive point of view. But he said there's one deck that actually is tough to beat, and that is Cashrise Songhai with a bunch of 0 mana spells. And low cost minions, of course. But I'm kind of addicted to Zoo, so... Tier 0 means it's beyond tiering. I think it is. We can never dream, right? We probably can't even play a 3-drop next turn. Actually, let's make sure that we can move into a mana tile. That's kind of important against this deck, I think. Yeah, maybe I will play the Songhai deck just to see how it feels. If it's true what Calvin says. I like Cashrise decks anyway. But like I said, I am addicted to Zoo, so that's the problem. I'll play around Tempest by first fishing this Mystic. Does not aggro Magmar beat this though. I don't... How do you kill people with aggro Magmar if you can't play a single minion? Like I said, I've had like 6 turns in a row where I couldn't play a single minion in Zoo Vet. Well, maybe because of Flash, I guess. Maybe Flash helps. Oh, Mace also said Flash up minions. Which my first game versus Decoy watch. Should I watch that or only Macer? I'm a bit worried about Sanctify if I Shroud this, but I also... Sanctify is also less of a problem if I Shroud this. I can just rush, not rush, but drag. Play around Tempest still. I'll keep backlining the Jaxi because of Tempest. I will drag, not rush. Slow playing against control. I don't know when to drag and when to rush. It's all new stuff to me. Maybe that's also why I've been having fun with Duelyst. I feel like I've been learning stuff. Okay, that's fine with me. I don't get mana screwed by this. And I get a dream. Although, I don't know if I can use much of the dream. I guess I'll get Sanctify this time. That forces Martyrdom. Oh, he even walked in range of my Mystic. Easy Sanctify. I'm learning. Do I replace something? Yeah, I'll replace the highest cost shit in my hand. It's kind of disappointing, but still 1 mana +4/+4 is pretty strong. It's a double Greater Fort. Another Tempest is unfortunate, because he didn't even Rift that or Alcuin. I'm playing Blood here this turn because it's bad with Lock. And because otherwise I would waste the Mystic Gambit as well. Because I do need to play Lock at some point to not die to Tiger stuff. Martyrdom on a 2-drop, that's nice. There's only 1 Tempest left and he can't Alcuin it. So I think I just put the Jaxi in his face. First wish first. Because maybe I get a better 2-drop. Not sure what would be better though. I don't think anything. I could technically die, I think, to triple Sanctify on a Tiger. 8, 12. I think it's still only 4 attack though, Sanctify. I don't think I got mana screwed after I played Sanctify against him. The Venom deck I made for you might work better, by the way. I will try that then. I enjoyed that deck too. That's also okay. Only 1 Martyrdom left. He has only 1 Tempest left, so I'm just gonna Tempo Shroud. But just in case he gets the last Tempest, which is not that unlikely because he has Aerial Rifts, I'll play this Jaxi here, so that this mini Jax survives. We need Tempests. Yeah, I didn't get mana screwed much this game, so of course without Aerial Rift he just has the last Tempest. Easy. But yeah, I did play around it a little bit. Oh shit, a Tiger, that's nice for me. One of the winged ones out. It is not nice that I don't have a minion though. Now I finally have mana, I don't have a play. I might have to play Lock this turn, so I'm gonna replace the third wish. Because I need multiple locks. Lady Lock Shieldmaster is not bad actually. Double provoke on the lock. If I had a real Lady Lock turn here this turn, then I would have just won, because he has no Tempest left. Although he could Alco in it, because I didn't play any spells. So yeah, what would have been really strong that turn would be Lady Lock with 2 drops and first wish. Okay, no Tempest cycling. Wish I played some out of hand damage. Because then obviously we would win, but now I think he wins. It would be nice to get a good 2-drop with the lock play. Gonna replace this strangely. Portal Guardian, so that... No, I need a dream. But it's a much better provoke. I could die to Tiger Sanctify shit, maybe. But if I get a dream, I just kill him with Spiral Technique. I'll play for the win. Looks like I'm dead to tigers. Which I could have definitely played around. But I felt like he didn't mana screw me much. Yeah, exactly, he didn't. So that means I'll just dominate will that. I knew that he didn't have many mana screws this game. I finally won a game against the deck, yay! Mirage Master would also work, by the way, that's cheaper. I thought I played 3 beams, waves. Yeah, I had a feeling you were not mana screwing me after I played my own Sanctify. Then I got +4/+4, and after that you never mana screwed me again. So how many games did we need to lose to win against that? 3, that's not that bad actually. 25% win rate. Amazing. What's the time? It's already getting kind of late. Like I said, it will be a short stream because I took the sleeping pills and it's late. But yeah, we can try the older Zoo vet, not vet, but Zoo Macer list. Oh, you see this Macer? I called vet, Macer Zoo, and the Venner I called Zoo Macer. Can you deduct some kind of meaning from this? I feel like there's a hidden message here. But I will go for Zoo Macer instead of Macer Zoo because Macer said Zoo Macer is better than Macer Zoo against that liner list, and I'm curious if that's true. It doesn't play that differently. Actually, this is nice for the 2-drop that mana screws you. Wolfvenner deck is an aggro deck, not Zok. Oh, not Wolfvenner, but Well. Well, comma, Venner deck is an aggro deck, not Zoo. So you think aggro is good against this? What the fuck just happened? I just... Wait, why is there no emote? There should be an emote here. Because I literally can't do anything about this. That is definitely an emote moment. You see this shit? Double aggro with double draining wave. I can't play anything turn 1 as player 2. This is why I was like, does aggro work against this? Because you can't play anything. So how do you do damage? But well, we can play a Fenrir now, so we win. His Tiger with Sanctify does 5 damage already. Do I play into Tempest? Tempest means he might not mana screw me as much. I can draw an extra card. But Fenrir is more reliable. Yeah, there's not really a one card answer to Fenrir, so I'll just play Fenrir instead of double 2. Because there is an answer card to double 2 Tempest. Who this? New phone? Sa was the problem. Insa was the problem. I don't know what that means. Do you like my name? I don't know, because I don't know what it means. I know what was the problem means, but what is double 3 NSA? Oh, Night Sorrow Assassin? 3-3 stat line? Oh, okay. Decoy, I think you didn't play back then, but I think what you should actually miss is 4-1 Night Sorrow Assassin. Why? Because it had Rush. They used to have a Tiger. Abyss used to have Tiger, but with extra attack. I know? Okay. Why don't you miss that card? That seems more like your type of card. I'm gonna Mystic, because then Tempest doesn't clear board. I wanted to play the Cloaker, but... if I Mystic my Fenrir, then Tempest doesn't clear board. That's not true, because he just copied a Lucid Beam, but then at least he has to play the Lucid Beam. Force him to play it on a 3 health thing. Never mind, he has 2 strike Tempest, probably. But wasn't it still bad, or was it Flying Blade? No, Flying Blade was actually one of the best things about Abyss back when they were bad. Because Flying Blade was broken. I can't play around Tempest, so I won't. But yes, Abyss was very bad a long time ago. Actually, Abyss was rarely top tier in general. There were a few metas where Abyss was good here and there, but on average, not really. This list doesn't have Heart Sisters, right? I don't think so. So this thing will probably never connect. We have only 3 mana, so Hailstone Prison sucks. But everything else also sucks. We could drag, not rush. Just play a Jaxi against Tempest. This can't attack generals. So I can just go and hit his face. And the next turn I will have 4 mana. Because this lives, and he will have only 3 next turn. Alright, that's how it works, I think. So that's probably not bad for me. Tempest buffer. Is that how it works? Yes, he has 3 mana. And I should have 4 because I had 1 mana left over last turn. Which means I can Hailstone Prison it with a 2-drop. Which is a bit better. Mostly because he doesn't get mana this turn. If I killed it last turn. If I Hailstone Prisoned it last turn, he would have 6 mana right now. Never mind, I have no mana anyway. If I Hailstone that, he has a lot of mana next turn, unlike me. This could give me lethal. I need this to play around tigers at some point. I don't think the mana screw from Peacekeeper and stuff buffs Sanctify, right? So, and some wisps also don't. I hope not, otherwise tiger stuff is already lethal. So I'll replace this. Yes, only 3 mana still now, so I can't even beat Tigered. Well, I can, but without Sanctify. Yeah, you don't really want to kill this on your own turn. You want this to die on the enemy's turn. The Cat Tiger 3-2 rush 3 mana and blitz, yes. I was a bit surprised that it was one of the few cards that did not get mana reduction. Well, Heartseeker and Bloodtear is 0 mana. What? Yeah, that is insane. Especially because 0 mana minions ramp. That is the biggest problem with 0 mana minions. Is that they ramp in the early game on mana tiles. That was also one of the reasons why Slow was actually playable. Remember that retarded battle pet? The 0 mana rock pulverizer. We have 3 mana this time. That means we can play a Fenrir. How nice. I don't need 2 shrouds. Still don't want to kill that thing on his turn, because then I die to Tiger Sanctify stuff probably. Tempest almost clears board, but it gives me mini jacks at least. I wish I had Heart Sisters in the deck, but this is not my list. This is Mace's list. Hey, at least he kills the golem on his turn. That's very good. That means I have mana next turn. Means I can do a Lady Lock stuff. And he just played Tempest. Yeah, we have 9 mana even. That means we just spam these 2 drops. I kind of need a real 2 drop instead of Shroud, because I need 4 health on my minions. Uh, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, close. Yeah, where's my Chrome Colds actually? This dies to Tempest anyway, so might as well just play it. No, because of Tiger stuff, I need to use it to provoke me. not allow him to hit it. Maybe I should have played Boundless this turn, so that he can't Tempest. But Tempest alone is not really good enough because I have 2 things with 4 health. There's no way I can die to Tiger now, right? Well, maybe there is, because he could True Strike Tempest. Which means this Primus Fist should have been where the Shroud is. At least he can't Elko in the Tempest now, that's already a start. GM titles issue decide by random meltdown rolls that goes face. True, actually. Sundrop Elixir, don't really care about that unless he has removal. He did get another Tempest, of course. Not even from Aerial Rift. And then he could still Tiger Sanctify me and then I lose. Looks like that's exactly what he has. No, it's an Embezzler. 2 Embezzlers, in fact. Okay, I'll just go face and pray, I guess. I needed another Chrome Cold. Now I just died. Of course, the card that I need, 1 turn too late. Now I die to Tigers. Classic. If he's attacking that Void Hunter instead of the other one, then I think he has lethal after he hits twice with these things. Another Chrome Cold just to taunt me. But yeah, this deck indeed seems not bad against his list. I think you're right, Macer. Because if I had just seen this second Chrome Cold not 1 turn later, I would have won already. Looks like I might win anyway, depending on what he's going to do with his 5 leftover mana. Okay, to heal for 3. Doesn't work because I got 2 Chrome Colds, but he could have some healings. Yeah, that's also healing. At least it's without a Sanctify, that's nice. And now I'm 2 damage of lethal again. I need blood here for lethal. I don't play Tigers in this, I'm pretty sure, so no Bounders. Play this so that I'm less likely to die to Tiger Sanctify stuff. These long cards, but hey, this was lethal last turn. This is 2 turns in a row where I get the card I need on the draw after. Very nice. I'll probably go to sleep after this. These kind of draws are kind of tilting. Two damage of lethal 2 turns in a row. 2 turns in a row, I get the card I need on the draw at the end. You could have CC the G1 than hit face. For better HP, true. I keep forgetting about that. It's not the first time I make that mistake. You didn't choose a Tempest, or did he already play all Tempests? Him not Tempesting here after Aerial Rift makes me feel like he already played all Tempests. Now I'm one of lethal, nice. Can't really make this shit up. Do I want to play this? Or play 2 deers? I think the 2 deers is harder to deal with, maybe. That's a nice spawn. And it happened again. The card I needed 1 turn later. This is now 3 turns in a row that I'm 2 or 1 off lethal. And I get the damage card that I need on the draw after the turn. But we win anyway. Okay. Mesa was right, this deck is good against that Lionar deck. Because 100% win rate with this deck, 25% with Zuvat. That's how statistics work. I have 10 cards left and have to do shit like this, still why are you complaining? What do you mean? You had an Aerial Rift, you could have picked any card you wanted, no? You just drew like shit on it back, probably. Because you only needed Tiger Sanctify to win, basically, right? It doesn't matter that it's not lethal. Because you just heal back to full. Why not block Tiger Sanctify walking away and walling off with Deer? Because retarded. I found 0 mana screw. What do you mean? You mana screwed me twice on turn 1 and I couldn't play a minion as player 2 turn 1. That was funny. I had 1 mana as player 2 turn 1. Had to skip my turn. And that was it. No opens or rifts to find more. I wasn't really noticing that. I'm not very good at noticing things. Maybe because of the pills. That's a very short stream, but it is already 12 basically, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I should just go to sleep, unfortunately. Do I play more? Chat, what do you think? Should I be responsible or... Watch game versus decoy, okay. Number 4. So this one is what you mean? You mean the last one, right? No, the first game, okay. So 4 from that direction. Nigerian Nugget. This is not Nigerian Nugget, am I wrong? I know he could have just name changed, but I'm just double checking. The first game against Nigerian Nuggets, you have a shit ton of them. Oh, you mentioned it was Magmar, so it's probably this one, right? because you talked about this game when Macer mentioned Agro Magmar. So this is the one you mean, I think. Let me know if I'm wrong. What a name indeed. So there is a Russian company called Gazprom, right? I think most people know it. If not, then I don't know. I guess you're not really into gas companies that are basically state-owned. But they also have a Nigerian branch, and it's actually called, you know, the short version of Nigerian gas. I'm not gonna say it because then Twitch will ban me, but that's the real company name. And I'm not making this shit up, it's real. You can look it up. And, you know, it's a Nigerian company technically, so they don't seem to care about it. It's like a joint... what's the proper term for that? When two countries have one company together? Is that a joint venture? I don't think so. I don't know the English terms for these kind of company registrations. I only know the Dutch terms for that. But basically it's a state company with, well, where Russia and Nigeria are working together to get the gas. It is a joint venture, I was right, okay. Be right back googling. I think yeah, that's the one, Handmind. That's the one I mean. That is real. It's not a meme. I had to manually allow that one. Yeah, just because of the link, right? So yeah, that's a real thing. It would definitely be racist if, you know, if it wasn't a Nigerian company, they allow it. Racism is not funny, says Decoy. That is actually funny because you say it. Very bad. Wait, Nigerian Nugget is actually playing Minions. Okay. Year of activism. Yep, that's Decoy. Keep in mind, people, Decoy is a man of color. That's not even a meme. Decoy is technically a man of color. He is diverse, even though Asian is the most common race. I'm pretty sure the most diverse is a Native American, a pure-blooded Native American, right? Isn't that like the rarest race? Maybe not if you count native South Americans as Native Americans, because, you know, Bolivia and Peru actually has real natives still. And the Amazon a bit, but not as many as you would think, because the Brazilian government doesn't care about them. Or at least not enough. Maybe Native Australian is the rarest race. Maybe. I consider Inuit to be Asians. I mean, they look Asian, so... And they are migrants from Siberia. So, you know, I consider them Asians. Well, if you say that, you could also argue that all Native Americans are Asians. So maybe Inuit is a bit of a weird case. We need to do some race study. Yay! Racial science. Yay! Fun. Are Russians Asians? Some of them. I believe it's about 20%. So it's actually quite a lot. They're literally American. Yeah, but that's kind of weird because, you know, Amerigo Vespucci is not a Native American, right? So it's kind of weird to call Native Americans Americans, because that can't ever be the right word for them, because then they would be named after a random Italian guy. Was Vespucci, Amerigo Vespucci? I think that was an Italian guy. Maybe he was just like Columbus, like Italian but also Portuguese at the same time, and then working for Spain. Let me Google that. I'm kind of curious. Vespucci. Was it? Yeah, Italian. I was right. There was this viral Japanese tweet after the China travel ban. Basically, the guy said, yeah, there are no Chinese people here now, but white people are worse. Yeah, I'm actually always a bit surprised about how Chinese people have this image of being very rude, and then white people don't. That doesn't make sense to me. I feel like Chinese people and white people are kind of similar in a lot of ways, but they don't really realize it. They're definitely a similar type of rude. They also don't really look around much, if you know what I mean. So I think that's actually a base tweet, that white people are worse than Chinese people. I feel like that's actually true. At least that's true for Germans and Americans, I feel like. I don't know why, but Germans I've met abroad and are usually completely terrible. Germans in Germany, not so much, but Germans I've met in Korea are such insane cunts. They're worse than Americans. But Germans in Germany, that's not necessarily true. Maybe I just got unlucky here, I don't know. Isn't Trump German? Yes, he has German ancestry. Well, so he's not German, but you know, he has German ancestry. I missed some chat. Russia is in Asia as well as Europe. It is a transcontinental country with about 77% of its territory located in North Asia, including Siberia, and about 23% in Eastern Europe. Yes, but that's territory, not population. It's kind of funny, the territory and the population are reverse of each other. I'm pretty sure. They got the passive trade. There are so many German tourists. Yeah, and also, at least in Japan, I noticed a lot of French. In Korea, not so much. Korea mostly attracts other Asian tourists. Not that there are no white tourists, but not that many. Compared to Japan, the amount of white tourists is very low in Korea. But a lot of Asian tourists. Is this supposed to be aggro Magmar? Where's the aggro? Good question, because he just played a vet Scimitar. But I think it's also because Decoy just can't play any cards, you know? Because of the mana screw. That's why I don't think aggro is some kind of counter deck to this new Lionar deck. Because as aggro, you still need to be able to have plays to do damage, right? And if you get enough mana screw, then you can't even play 2-drop. Oh, it isn't aggro anyway. Do you see lethal into... Do you have a Sanctify in your hand? You don't, but you do have an Aerial Rift. Let me pause if I see it. Or does this still go phase? Is this from before the patch? Because if it's from before the patch, then obviously you just Lucent Beam his face a few times. This is pre-patch. Okay, yeah, then you just Lucent Beam twice and Aerial Rift for the last one. And he's dead. Maybe that's lethal this turn, actually. I don't know if you already played the Lucent Beam this game. I don't remember, because I was reading chat more than watching the game, to be honest. How can we Lucent then do that? Yeah, I also don't know how much damage Lucent Beam does at the moment. But if it's not enough, then Pasty's obviously right. Only 8 damage right now. Only a 1-mana Spiral Technique. That has got to be one of the most absurd things we've had in Duelyst, right? 1-mana Spiral Technique. Okay, he has triple Lucent Beam in hand now, so... Any draining waves for 9, 18, 27 exactly. Nice. Aggro Magmar so good, but it's not aggro Magmar anyway. Nice Dark Ice Frenzy. Oh, with a Great Fort. That's a big egg. Sword of Kek egg. A Sword of Kek egg. And now we get triple more than Spiral Technique for 3 mana. Very nice. Oh, it's 10 damage even. Oh yeah, because Draining Wave is 2 mana crystals destroyed. This is so absurd. That was nice. I didn't pay attention much, but the ending at the very least was nice. 30 damage for 3 mana. Should have played around it, agree. Should have played Prophet of the White Palm from Duelyst 2 in Origins. Actually, that was one of my propositions for a Prophet rework that I proposed to Bladem during Duelyst 2. That it would block a bunch of... that it would block spell damage to your face, but it would be expanded. It would not only block direct damage spells like Phoenix Fire, but it would also block other types of spell damage that are indirect, like Nova. Because Nova worked against Prophet, right? Because it's not target a damage spell on something. You make tiles and then the tiles do damage. So it would work not only against the normal stuff, but also against Nova, also against 4 Wings Pinks, so also passive abilities of minions that do spell damage, quote unquote. And then maybe increase the stat line if that was too weak. But then it would only work to protect your general and not your minions. That was one of my propositions for Prophet of the White Palm back then, to stop the Lady Locke Prophet cheese and Jack's Prophet cheese. But Bladden didn't really like it. So that's why it didn't happen. I don't remember why he didn't like it. He did explain to me, but it's a long time ago. Yeah, Winterblade kind of works, but you need to time it correctly, and that's kind of difficult. And I don't even mean skill required. It's more, it's like half skill, half RNG, depending on what your opponent does and the timings, etc. But yeah, Winterblade is nice against those type of combo decks. It's not a combo deck, I know, but there is a combo inside your control deck. Kieran used to play 2 turn 1 Wings of Paradise, turn 2 kills whatever you play with wings, and that is summoning, then you concede. I remember that. That was indeed... that's such a typical Kieran deck. He always manages to find those kind of annoying, strong, underrated things. He's pretty creative. He's definitely more creative than most good players. Kieran's Abyss deck is really cool. He has one in this Duelyst, you mean? In Origins? I haven't seen it. Yeah? I haven't seen it. What is it about? Mogwai decks. So he plays a bunch of high attack minions, I guess. Because then Mogwai is actually a good card. How do you do that? How do you play high attack minions in Abyss? I mean, in the late game you can, of course, but how do you do that in the early game? Let me check. Actually, you only need to play 3 attack minions and you're fine. Because a 3-mana 3/5 is good enough already. So you just play Blood Siren, Gloom Chaser, Flameblood, maybe? Is there a 1-mana 3/1? There is not. There's no 1-mana 3/1. Don't think this is really playable. Scarrow Golem, nice meme. Yeah, I guess that's all he can do. Is play Flameblood, Gloom Chaser, and Blood Siren with Mogwais. And then, of course, the usual high attack late game minions and Night Sorrow. Void Steel on Vorpal is insane, it turns out. I mean, any attack buff on Vorpal is insane because, you know, celerity. But there is a lot of removal that helps against Vorpal Reaver, so... One is Rend, one is DFC. Rend helps against Mogwai. Oh, you mean you play a big minion, then the next turn you play Mogwai Rend to OTK them basically, yeah. And DFC also allows you to play big Mogwais, makes sense. Oh, Mogwai also triggers on your general? I didn't know that. Highest attack among allies, yes, it works on your general, good point. So, Mogwai is probably just a very underrated card. Because a 3-mana 4/5 is insane. Chaos Elemental is already decent, it's already a pretty good card. But 5 health or 4 health is a huge difference. Allowing to survive Immo and Macanter and Cryo and Breath when you're next to a minion. That shit is a very big deal. Also, Spectral Blade, the Mask of Shadows. There's so many 4-mana, 4 attack sources, 4 damage sources. If you don't play, I'm going to work on patch. Yes, I'm going to sleep, Calvin. So I'm looking forward to the patch tomorrow morning, I guess, if you have enough time to finish it. Reaper has 7 attack, yep. Reaper has a good stat line for Mogwai deck. You just play Mogwai for board. Opponent has a big minion. That doesn't work, right? Because it says among allies. This gains attack equal to the highest attack among allies. If it worked against enemies too, then this card would be broken, I'm pretty sure. I feel like there would be no reason not to play it. Because then it's good out of hand with big minions, it's good when you're ahead, and it's also good when you're behind. And it's just always good. Chat, before I close stream, can you imagine that Mogwai, as much as I like him, has a card in Duelyst and I do not. Feels weird, man. And I won that as a prize from Joseki for being world champion. I would get a card in the game. And instead Mogwai and Pedo, because Pedo was a content creator a very long time ago, most people probably don't know him. It was like 2014. They do have it and they don't make content anymore. Faroka card when? Decoy has a card too, true, faceless Decoy. Do we add the world champion as a card? I think the answer is yes. But Mesa will say no just to troll me. Because he thinks it's a funny meme that if I never get it, I know him. I know him, he thinks that would be funny. And it kind of would be. Because it has been a running meme, a running gag, a running meme for many years now. Because when did I become world champion? 2017, right? So that's at this point almost 10 years ago. Holy cancer! It's almost 10 years ago. That means I know Macer for 10 years. Because I knew him before the world championship. Macer, are you still here? I just realized I know you for 10 years. That means I know you almost as long as my stepdad. Almost. You get a card in 2027. 10-year anniversary. I can live with that. I've been waiting for almost 10 years. I can wait another one. It's better than ever. I could maybe find my old ideas for my cards because I should have chat with Joseki. It was in Discord. I should still have it somewhere unless I deleted the chat, but I don't think I did. But I could also just make up a new card entirely. I've been having a lot of ideas lately that I've been spitting out on stream. When there was nobody here yet but Kelvin, for example, my idea to buff Frosthorn Rhino was that it's the same card but with an extra opening gambit, and the opening gambit is this minion moves 2 spaces forward. Of course, if it gets blocked on the pathing, it doesn't. But it can move through an ally, not end on the same tile of course. But basically just normal movement, 2 forward. You can't choose which direction, just 2 forward. I think that will be a nice little buff, because that makes it really easy to make Solitude plays with it. And it's a lot more playable. And it's also just a cool effect. Because not only does it allow you to play this card into Solitude more easily, it also allows you to play around AoEs like Mancanter and Immo when you sometimes otherwise couldn't. It also allows you to chain stuff like Shroud to reach things with those kind of close range opening gambits, etc. It just gives it a lot more applications, makes it a lot more playable. And I got that idea because I was like, what do rhinos do? They charge. Because rhinos charge, what about an opening gambit where it moves on the turn that it's summoned? And with that I don't mean that it has rush. I don't mean Hearthstone charge. I just mean it moves 2 spaces, it doesn't attack anything. It just moves 2 spaces after it's summoned as an opening gambit. Any enthusiasts in chat? If not, Hate Furnace? I don't remember what that card does. What does Hate Furnace do? I know it's not in this game, but I'll type it anyway. No, I really don't remember. It had something to do with Rush. But this is not Rush. Rhino, I'm not talking about Rush, right? I'm talking about it moves 2 spaces. It doesn't attack anything. But what did Hate Furnace do again? Didn't it turn everything into Mancanter? Wasn't it one of those stupid Wanderer things? One of those quest cards that made everything into a Mancanter? Yeah, don't quest off shit, exactly. Made everything you play have rush. Nice. Nerve indicator, but also give everything rush forever. Okay. Sounds like what's the name? CPG. child porn gaming. But I'm going to sleep. When you buff allies 8 times, give friendly minions rush frenzy. So it did indeed give him a counter to everything. But I didn't remember how to trigger it. But apparently you had to play fucking 8 Greater Fortitude somehow. Maybe Grow triggered it? Did Grow stat improvement trigger that shit? I actually don't really care, to be honest. You don't have to answer that. I don't care about the cards from those days. Except the few that were cool. Even though almost all of the expansions were complete garbage, there was a slight amount of cards that was actually cool. I, for example, thought that Grandmaster Zendo was really cool. He was also very ace to play against, but he was also actually good design. Even though it used battle pad mechanics, it was still cool. I think Embla was pretty cool. And what else was cool back then? Can't really think of anything else, to be honest. Shidiatsu. Embla was so fun, agree. Onyx Jaguar. Oh yeah, Onyx Jaguar was quite fun actually. I played quite a bit of that. I played quite a bit of Onyx Jaguar decks on ladder. Never in competitive, but on ladder I played quite a bit of Onyx Jaguar shit. A lot of Ox High. Ox was also a quest, right? I don't remember what it did. You have to keep in mind I already quit the game when the quests got released. I just accidentally won the Wanderer tournament. But I didn't know any of the cards when I did that. That's why I also made so many misplays. I went into the tournament not knowing what any of the cards did. And the funny thing is, I didn't even get that much help that time. Because in the World Championship I got a lot of help. But in the Wanderer tournament, the only help I got was decks. I was given the decks to play. But I don't think I got other help, did I? I think I was alone for that tournament, except the decks, yeah. And contrary, when I say alone and that I wasn't alone during the Mech World Championship, a common misconception is that Macer was there. He was not there. Macer did not help me then. It was Jay. Jay was there. Not for every game, but he was there. So yeah, Drago got scammed. But we already knew that, right? But I've noticed that a lot of people thought Macer was also there. That's not true. Macer was just watching with popcorn, basically. Having fun with his memes. When you summon minions with 7 different costs, minions you play deal their cost as damage to a random enemy. Was Colossus there for group stage? Yes. In the group stage, Colossus and I were in a group call. And it sounded like he was masturbating. I'm not kidding. I heard sounds that sounded like masturbating and I don't know why. I didn't ask. Because I didn't want to know the answer. Because maybe he actually was. His streams were so fun. I agree. I actually really enjoyed Cole's streams. They were really funny. He used to say Hail Satan when he's done streaming. Yep. He was the Antichrist of Duelyst. I also really liked his Twitch profile. You know, with the ugly paint drawings and the memes and yeah. And the stupid music that was played in his stream. Just good toxic vibes. Nice toxic streamer vibes. Kolos himself wasn't even that toxic, but his stream was as a whole because of the Kolos chatters that made the stream even more fun. I think he said one of his students found his channel. Okay, he lost his job, I think. There were so many good memes in Kolos stream from Kolos chatters. Like, I don't know who was actually doing that, but there was like this guy that named himself like Kolos Dad or something. And he was always doing these racist Asian jokes like, Kolos, you very disappointing me. Why you no doctor yet? Like this kind of garbage Asian jokes. Constantly. There was also like Kolos Grey Shirt or something, who was also funny. But just some random memories. Ride the Dragon, yep. Also, Brazzers. Remember Kolos Brazzers? When his mother comes into his room. And then someone in Kolos chat made that meme, I don't remember who. Of his mother coming into his room while streaming. Yes, his mom, yeah. His mom was actually surprisingly fuckable. Because, you know, Kolos is kind of a chop, but his mom, not bad. What I liked about Kolos streams as well was that he just allowed everything. He just didn't really care about any kind of trolling. I appreciate that when people can just take a joke or a million jokes. It's not good to take yourself too seriously, I think. I think that's a dangerous precedent. He also used to play 4 games at once. I thought only Maester did that shit. I don't remember Kolos doing that. Maybe 2, probably 2 because it's Kolos. Oh, you mean literally 4 different games at once, not 4 Duelyst games at once, but 4 different games at once with League of Lesbian? Really? That doesn't sound possible. Aren't you supposed to click shit all the time in League of Lesbian? You can't AFK in that game, can you? I don't know much about LoL. So maybe you can, I don't know. Yes, he did that once. I could only do that with turn-based games like Civilization, because then you can literally just stop playing whenever. In Civ 4 you just do one action, and if you don't do an action, nothing happens. You can literally quit the second that you're doing something. You're probably fed enough to have time for Duelyst. Respawn times can get long. True. Duelyst deck you would play is Duelyst while mech. That was not very fun. I know from my World Champion experience, not sure why you would do that to yourself. Mech was so cancer. Biggest cheese. But it did allow me to move to Korea, so I do have some kind of weird positive feelings towards mech. Which is why all my sub edges are mech pieces, even though I hate mech. And in this version of the game I don't hate mech anyway. This Duelyst version of mech is kinda cool. Sometimes the eye rolls still suck. Like Kelvin had a turn 2 Mechazor against me, I think 2 weeks ago or something. That doesn't feel good, but as long as that doesn't happen, I think mech is pretty cool now. Remember the Mesa control fade that got nerfed in like 1 week? Yes, I also remember that decoy because that was one of the 2 decks I used to qualify for Worlds. I qualified for Worlds by winning a tournament with the Cashfry deck and that control fade deck, which I'm pretty sure is the only control deck we've had in Wandrel, if I remember correctly. I can't think of any other control deck in Wandrel. When he's the only person that played it? No, I played it too. And there was one other person, but I don't remember who. Was it Yukarin maybe? I think it was Yukarin that also played it. You can ask Macer if you want to know, but there was a third person. Yukarin. I think it's Yukarin, right? I'm mispronouncing it. Or misremembering, I don't know. However you want to put it. But I'm stalling to not go to sleep, and that's not a good idea. He said all of us girls just have weird names. That makes me wonder what Yukarin means. Does that mean something really normie in Japanese? Does it just mean like panda bear or something? Or yeah, I don't know. I don't know Japanese. I've lived there for only 1 year and I was mostly keeping up my Korean when I was living there. I'm not memeing. I was putting more effort into Korean than Japanese when I was living in Japan. I don't think it means anything. Okay. Then it's just a name, I guess. And then that means he also has a weird name. Just like me. Abstract names are weird, right? Aren't they? Anyway, I caught up on chat so I can go to sleep now, right? Thanks for watching, thanks for the talking. This is why I stream in the first place, is to get messages and reply to them. I know I'm not very good at that while playing, but if I don't get messages, then I might as well play without stream, because then I will play better and faster, because I don't have to commentate everything. 99 to Catbox Paradox. No, because I always used to have kanji characters that means cum shot. Typical decoy. Decoyed moment. Oh, by the way, yes, okay, one more thing before I end. You need low cards words without clearing cache, right? Yes. I only refreshed. I pressed F5, but not with the cache thing. So not Ctrl Shift R or something, or manual cache, etc. I just pressed F5 and it worked. So that has been fixed. Very nice. So thanks again for watching, everyone, and saying stuff in chat. And probably see you tomorrow. Not 100% sure. I know for sure I don't have a day tomorrow, but I might have to do some useful things tomorrow. That's the thing. We'll see. Good night, Pasty. Good night, everyone. Bye.